This might shock you. That multivitamin you've been taking for years, the one you trust, the one that claims to support your immune system, your heart, your vision, it might actually be doing the opposite. What if I told you that a specific, widely used multivitamin could be silently damaging your kidneys, especially if you're over 60? And no, it's not about taking too much. Even the standard dose, the one printed right there on the label, could be enough to set off a slow and silent decline you won't notice until it's too late. The worst part? You probably think you're doing everything right. But is your multivitamin slowly sabotaging your health? That's what we're going to uncover right now. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a chance to take back control of your health, especially the parts nobody is warning you about. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Just because something is sold over the counter, recommended by friends, or labeled as essential for health, doesn't mean it's safe for everyone, especially not for seniors. In fact, the very age group that most heavily relies on multivitamins is also the most vulnerable to their hidden risks. Now, ask yourself this: how often do you read the ingredient list on your supplements? Not the front label that says, supports healthy aging or formulated for seniors. I'm talking about the actual breakdown of what's inside, those long chemical names squeezed into fine print. What if I told you that one common ingredient in many popular multivitamin brands has been linked in multiple studies to increase strain on the kidneys? And what if that ingredient is marketed as something good for you, something that sounds like it's essential? Here's where it gets a little wild. Many senior-formulated multivitamins contain high doses of synthetic vitamin A, usually in the form of retinol palmitate or retinol acetate. These synthetic forms can accumulate in the body, especially if you're not deficient in vitamin A to begin with. And here's the kicker: excess vitamin A isn't just flushed out like vitamin C. It gets stored in your liver, and in high amounts, it becomes toxic. Now, what does that have to do with your kidneys? Everything. When your liver is overloaded with vitamin A, it begins to push that stress onto other organs, and the kidneys, your body's filtration system, pick up the slack. Over time, this overload can lead to nephrotoxicity. That's a fancy word for kidney damage. And if you're older, your kidneys are already more vulnerable. Kidney function naturally declines with age. What this means is that a dose of vitamin A that might be fine for a younger person could be harmful to you. And yet, supplement companies continue to push these formulations onto the shelves year after year. And this isn't just about vitamin A. Take a closer look at the forms of minerals in your supplement. You might see magnesium oxide or zinc oxide. Sounds technical, right? Here's the problem. Those are some of the least absorbable forms of minerals. Your body struggles to use them efficiently. So instead of supporting your health, they sit around in your system, potentially irritating your digestive tract, or worse, collecting in your tissues over time. And who do you think is most at risk for these effects? That's right, older adults with slower digestion, reduced kidney function, and more medications already in their system. But let me ask you something even more important. How often do you tell your doctor about the supplements you're taking? According to research from the National Institutes of Health, a surprising number of seniors don't mention their vitamins during checkups. And yet those supplements can interact with medications silently, invisibly. One of the worst culprits? Calcium. That's right, calcium, the bone health superstar. It's included in almost every multivitamin for seniors. But too much calcium, especially in supplement form, has been associated with kidney stone formation. And what do most people do when they start aging? They add even more calcium on top of what's in their food, because we've been told that more calcium equals stronger bones. The reality? It's not just about calcium intake. It's about calcium balance. And when it's out of balance, when there's more calcium floating around than your body can properly use or filter, it doesn't magically build bone. It starts calcifying in places it shouldn't. Your arteries, your joints, and yes, your kidneys. In fact, one study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that excess supplemental calcium was associated with a higher risk of kidney stone formation and other renal complications, particularly in women over 50. Now think about this for a second. If you're taking a multivitamin that contains both high-dose calcium and vitamin D, a common combo meant to maximize absorption, you might be increasing that risk even more. And if you're drinking fortified juice, eating dairy, or taking an additional calcium supplement, you could be getting 2, 3, even 4 times more calcium than your body actually needs. But here's the truly alarming part. You wouldn't feel the damage as it's happening. There's no pain, no warning signs until one day something is wrong with your blood work. Or worse, you end up in the ER with a kidney stone or abnormal kidney function. So here's the question. How do you protect yourself without giving up on the benefits of supplementation entirely? The answer isn't to fear all vitamins, it's to choose smarter. And that starts with one simple action: reading the label and understanding the forms and dosages of the nutrients inside. Don't just trust the brand name or the marketing slogans. Look for bioavailable forms of nutrients, like methylcobalamin instead of cyanocobalamin for B12, or magnesium glycinate instead of magnesium oxide. These forms are easier on your kidneys and actually get absorbed where they're needed. Also, consider your actual needs. Have you been tested for deficiencies? Are you eating a relatively balanced diet? If you're already getting a lot of nutrients from food, a multivitamin might be giving you more than you need, especially if you're eating fortified cereals, drinking enriched juices, and snacking on bars that are basically glorified supplements. All of that adds up, and when your kidneys are working overtime to flush out the excess, the wear and tear becomes real. Let me pause here and ask, have you ever felt more tired even after taking vitamins? Have you had headaches, digestive issues, or muscle cramps that don't seem to have an obvious cause? It might be your supplement, not the absence of nutrients, but the overload. And it's sneaky, because you're taking it to feel better. You're trusting the process, but instead, your body is waving a red flag you might not recognize. And here's where it gets even more disturbing. Many of the studies used to justify multivitamin formulations are outdated. Some of them used healthy, young participants, not seniors with slower metabolism and different hormonal needs. That means the dose that's safe and effective, in theory, may not be safe for you. Your kidneys aren't filtering like they did 20 years ago. Your liver isn't clearing toxins at the same speed. And if you're on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes, those pills are already putting strain on your detox organs. That's why understanding synergy matters. Some vitamins and minerals work best in partnership. Others compete for absorption. For example, high doses of zinc can interfere with copper absorption. But most multivitamins don't tell you that. They just list the percentages and hope you won't ask questions. But we're asking now, what is your supplement really doing inside your body? Is it supporting your long-term health or slowly undermining it? You might be wondering, should I stop taking my multivitamin altogether? Not necessarily, but it's time to stop taking it blindly. Start treating your supplements like medications, with purpose, intention, and guidance. Get your blood levels tested. Talk to a doctor who understands nutritional biochemistry, not just prescriptions. Adjust your intake based on your diet and your labs, not your age group on a marketing label. Most importantly, start seeing food as your first line of defense. Real food, whole food, nutrient-dense meals rich in antioxidants, fiber, and healthy fats. Because the truth is, when you eat well, you need fewer supplements. And when you do supplement, you can choose only what's truly missing, in the right form and in the right dose. If you're over 50 and your joints ache when you get out of bed, go upstairs or just try to enjoy a walk. It's not your age, and it's not your fault. The real issue, your body's running out of a natural substance that cushions your joints like a shock absorber. And most supplements out there, glucosamine, collagen, all of it, don't fix this. But now, researchers have discovered a breakthrough that can actually restore what your joints are missing, and people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are seeing real relief. If you're feeling stiff, sore, or weaker lately, stop guessing. Check the link in the pinned comment now. And here's where we go even deeper, because now you know the risks. You know that not all multivitamins are safe, especially not when used carelessly. But what about the hidden factors that make these risks even worse? The ones almost nobody is talking about? Let's talk about something that sounds harmless, even beneficial. Iron. Iron is often added to multivitamins for energy, especially in formulas targeting women and older adults. But did you know that excessive iron accumulation is a silent epidemic among seniors? Unlike nutrients such as vitamin C, which is water-soluble and excreted through urine, iron is stored. And when there's too much, it builds up in your organs, especially your liver, your heart, and yes, your kidneys. There's even a name for this: iron overload, or hemochromatosis. Inherited forms exist, but even without a genetic disorder, you can develop toxic levels over time. Why? Because your body has no natural way to get rid of excess iron. So if you're not deficient, and you keep taking a multivitamin with added iron, you're slowly saturating your organs with something that promotes oxidative stress, inflammation, and irreversible tissue damage. And once again, the kidneys are caught in the crossfire. As your body tries to filter out the iron-stimulated oxidative compounds, tiny structures inside your kidneys, called nephrons, take the hit. They're like microscopic sponges filtering your blood all day, every day. But when oxidative stress is constant, those sponges start breaking down, slowly, quietly, and the damage accumulates. Now you might be thinking, isn't it important to have iron as we age? The truth is, unless you've been diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia and tested by a healthcare provider, you probably don't need supplemental iron at all. Especially not daily, especially not in doses designed for younger, menstruating individuals who actually lose iron monthly. But let's zoom out for a second. Why are multivitamins still being formulated this way? Why do companies still sell the same one-size-fits-all pills year after year? The answer is simple. It's cheaper. It's convenient. It's easier to produce and market a generic product than it is to personalize something based on age, diet, or medical history. Think about this. Have you ever noticed that most multivitamins contain synthetic B vitamins like folic acid and cyanocobalamin? Sounds official, right? But here's what most people don't realize. Many people, especially older adults, have genetic variations that make it hard to convert these forms into their active versions. So what happens? You take your vitamin, you feel good about it, but it's barely doing anything. Or worse, it builds up in your system, unmetabolized, increasing your toxic burden. Let's take folic acid. If you have a variation in the MTHFR gene, which many people do and don't even know it, your body struggles to convert folic acid into the active form, methylfolate. And when folic acid builds up, it doesn't just sit there quietly. It can interfere with natural folate metabolism and potentially elevate your cancer risk. That's not a side effect most people expect from a daily multivitamin. And now imagine you're over 60. You have slower liver detox. You may be on prescription medications. Your digestion might not be what it used to be. Your kidneys, already filtering a lifetime of waste, are trying to handle this avalanche of synthetic compounds, many of which you might not even need. This brings us to another powerful reality. When your kidneys are overwhelmed, everything in your body suffers. High blood pressure, fatigue, brain fog, fluid retention, all of these can be signs that your kidneys are under strain. But how many people would ever think to link these symptoms to their daily vitamin? Now let me ask you something crucial. Have you ever doubled up on your multivitamin during flu season? Or added a separate immune support blend on top? Many people do, thinking more is better. But here's the scary truth. Megadosing fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K can tip the scales from helpful to harmful very quickly. These nutrients accumulate in body fat and organs. They don't flush out easily. And when your kidneys have to filter the byproducts of this excess, they take on an enormous load, one that worsens with age. Even high doses of vitamin D, often praised for its immune and bone support, can become a problem if not properly balanced with magnesium and vitamin K2. Why? Because without those cofactors, calcium gets deposited into soft tissues instead of bones. That's how you end up with arterial calcification, joint stiffness, and yes, kidney stones. Let that sink in. A supplement you take to protect your bones could end up hurting your heart and kidneys if it's not formulated with balance in mind. And now let's talk about something almost no one pays attention to: the fillers and binders. Those tiny, often unpronounceable ingredients at the end of the label. Magnesium stearate, titanium dioxide, artificial colors. They're there to make the tablets look pretty, hold together, or go down easier. But do they belong in your body? Especially when you're already dealing with inflammation, declining kidney function, or other age-related conditions? According to emerging research, some of these additives can provoke immune responses, disrupt gut bacteria, and create low-grade inflammation, the very thing you're likely trying to reduce with supplements. And what organ is responsible for filtering and excreting these compounds? Your kidneys. And here's the most frustrating part of all. We've been trained to think that if something doesn't cause immediate pain or discomfort, it must be safe. But real damage, the kind that happens quietly over months and years, almost never feels urgent until it is. So what can you do right now to protect yourself? Start by switching your mindset. Don't think of supplements as harmless extras. Treat them like powerful tools that need to be chosen carefully. Look for brands that use third-party testing. Choose products that clearly disclose their ingredient sources, and avoid megadoses unless you're being medically supervised. Pay special attention to the forms of nutrients, not just the amounts. And above all, match your supplements to your actual needs, not to generic age brackets on a box. Better yet, build a foundation with real food. Every time you prioritize whole, unprocessed ingredients, you reduce the need for supplementation in the first place. Want more magnesium? Try spinach, pumpkin seeds, or almonds. Need more vitamin D? Consider safe sun exposure or fatty fish. Struggling with energy? Focus on sleep, hydration, and stable blood sugar, not just B-complex pills. And for those of you already on multiple medications, talk to a qualified professional before adding any supplement to your routine. Even something as basic as potassium, often found in senior vitamins for heart support, can be dangerous in combination with common blood pressure meds. Your kidneys might not be able to handle the extra load. Let's face it, aging is already full of changes we can't control, but the quality of your nutrition and the wisdom of your supplement choices, that's something you can absolutely take charge of. Now take a moment and think about the multivitamin in your cabinet right now. Do you know what's in it? Do you know how your body reacts to each ingredient? Or have you been trusting the label without question? Because sometimes the biggest danger isn't the thing we fear. It's the thing we never thought to question. And if this opened your eyes even a little, make sure to stick with the momentum and watch the next video on screen. It reveals another common health habit that may be silently harming your body without you ever realizing it. You'll want to know what it is before it's too late.